So, alright, so I'm just going to do a disclaimer at the start here. I got a filter for the microphone. Okay, there you go. The filter should prevent the popping noises when I make P's and B's. And this was recommended on Amazon, and people seem to like it, so I'm getting there, people. I'm working on improving the overall audio experience. So let me know if you notice a difference in quality. But I'm here to talk about these guys. I'm here to talk about the Leafs for a second. Because Leafs fans, we should chat before the summer gets going here. Every summer there's a crazy Maple Leafs rumor. Last summer it was Tavares, or last summer it was Stamkos. This summer it could be Tavares. I hope not. But you hear a lot of the same things. He wants to play for the Leafs. He really would be very happy to be a member of the Maple Leafs. You know what he really wants? He wants to play for the Maple Leafs. Rumors of who wants to play for the Maple Leafs go back decades. Every single player who's available or potentially a big free agent, Toronto fans will say, oh, I think he'd fit here. I think he wants to come and play in Toronto. Here's the thing. So I look at their cap situation, and they're not in a bad spot. But you look at guys who are listed as centers. You have Kadri, you have Bozak, Komarov can play center, Boyle's center. He's a UFA though. He's probably not coming back. Fair's probably not coming back either. He's listed as a center. Hyman can play center. Nylander can play center. I know some of these guys are playing the wings. I'm just making a point. Let me get it out. Marner can play center. Smith, and of course some kid named Matthews. Tavares needs to be first line center. He's not going to accept playing second fiddle to Matthews. He wants to be the number one guy. Not only that, but you look at the Leafs, and look who they have signed for next season. Okay, Kadri, Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, Komarov, Martin, Fair, if they keep him, Matthews, Hyman's an RFA, he'll stay. Nylander, Marner, Soshnikov are all still on their entry level. Levo's still got an entry-level season left. Connor Brown's RFA. He's not going anywhere. Ben Smith's UFA if he wants to come back. And if the Leafs want him back, it'll happen because he's not getting a big cap hit here. So the Leafs don't need a forward. They really don't. They could use, a couple of depth guys. I could see a couple of depth guys helping. But they don't need a star forward anymore. I think part of it is culture shock that all of the Leafs prospects worked out this year. All of them. I can't remember a time that I've seen this many prospects come up and shine in one season. Now look at the blue line. So you've got Morgan Riley is signed for a long term. Gardner's got 2 more years. Marchenko's got another year if they keep him. Marinson's got another year. He's also, these guys are both potentially Vegas bound. Connor Carrick has another year. They're keeping him. Zaitsev's an RFA. Of course, there's rumors he wants tons of money in term, and the Leafs are willing to pay it, and we know how Don Cherry feels about that. Matt Hunwick's UFA, replaceable. Roman Polak's UFA, replaceable. So on the blue line, there they need help. But this summer, it's not really a boon for free agent defensemen. Let's get into this here. No. Don't. Ow. Stop. (2017) NHL free agent prediction protect. Oh, unrestricted free agents for Maple Leafs to target. There's articles and articles up here. So let's just go dive into the top response that came up here. Unrestricted free agents for the Maple Leafs to target. Oh, Leafs have $20 million to spend, but they also have to re-sign guys. So and you have to save money.
Life, Well spent.
Oh, shut up.
Presented by Geico.
Shut up.
It's no secret that pro athletes make serious...
Shut up. Okay. God. Don't you hate ads that... Oh, never mind. So the Leafs are in great position, blah, blah, blah. So Kevin Shattenkirk is the top recommended on this editor and Leaf site. I agree. I will give you that Kevin Shattenkirk looks like a fantastic target for the Leafs. I will give you that one. But then they show Joe Thornton. No. Where does Thornton play? You have to move somebody out to bring Thornton in. Thornton's slowing down. I love Thornton right now. Didn't a couple years ago, but I got to admit, the Grizzled Warrior is fantastic. But he doesn't fit the speed and the whole stamina of the Leafs game right now. Carl Alsner. And then right under the guy says one of the NHL's most overrated players. He didn't spell Alsner right either. He spelled it Asner. So you wonder right away about the article. But no. Brian Boyle, obviously is UFA. He could very well stay. Cody Franzen, no. Michael Stone, and he says he's sort of like a cheaper, worse Dion Phaneuf. No. So none of that works. Shattenkirk, I'm okay with. The rest of it, I don't know what these people are thinking. So let's get into the hockey news. So Shattenkirk's number one on their list. He obviously would fill a lot of needs for the Leafs. He's a top four defenseman. He's a minute-munching defenseman. He's fully capable. His cap hit was 4.2. He's going to be looking for probably 6 to 7 million, and he'll get it somewhere. Bishop's number 2 on the list. Obviously a goaltender. They don't need a goaltender. 3 is Joe Thornton. They don't need Thornton. 4 is Radulov. If Radulov hits the market, it means he wants more than Montreal's willing to pay him. Montreal's willing to pay him a lot. So, no to Radulov. 5th on the list is Oshie. Oshie's been very good for Washington. There's a lot of guys here that I think Washington could very well keep. Oshie being on the list. I could see Oshie at age 30 taking a pay cut from his $4.1 million. In return, the Capitals basically say, look, you're taking this pay cut. We're going to make sure you have a team around you that you can win at least a Stanley Cup or two. Or try. 6 is Brian Campbell. No. 7's Martin Hanzal. How'd that work out for Minnesota? I knew Hanzal was going to be bad. Alsner's at 8. Now, he's 28. Alsner's going to make a mint. As much as Shattenkirk is going to make money, top 4 defensemen like Alsner, they don't grow on trees. And he's going to make a lot of money. Again, I could see Washington keeping him. Washington isn't going to lose everybody. They're not going to lose Oshie, Alsner, and Shattenkirk. They're going to keep at least one of those guys. Johnny Oduya, Dmitry Kulikov, Andrei Markov, Jaromir Jagr, Brian Elliott. I'm just shaking my head, in terms of what the Leafs need. Steve Mason, Thomas Vanek. For the right cap hit, Vanek could be a solid pickup. But where does he play? Who does he play with? Trevor Daley. Pittsburgh's making Daley look fantastic. As a Dallas fan, I'll tell you, he's a good Penguin. Very good Penguin. He should stay in Pittsburgh. Patrick Sharp's done. I don't even know why Sharp's on this list. Nick Bonino is fantastic. He's not a scorer, really. So if you pick up Bonino, you have to get rid of Bozak, in all likelihood. So, is Bonino worth losing Bozak? Probably. If only because Bonino would have that experience playing in Pittsburgh, and there's a winning atmosphere in Pittsburgh right now, and you want to pick up those players if you can. Mike Fisher's not going anywhere. Mike Fisher will stay in Nashville. He'll take a pay cut to stay in Nashville if he has to. Number 20 on the list is Patrick Marleau. Yeah, he's not going to the Leafs. Radim Vrbata. Again, maybe. But who do you move out for these guys? Justin Williams. Maybe. He didn't endear himself to the Leafs in these playoffs, though. Really? Thomas Greiss. They don't need a goaltender. Brian Boyle. They can keep him. They could keep Boyle. Chris Russell. The Oilers are going to keep Chris Russell. And I think Chris Russell knows what he's got with the Oilers. Much like Daly in Pittsburgh. Chris Russell's found his niche in Edmonton, and they really like him. So I don't see him going anywhere. Yuri Hudler, yeah, enjoy that. Because Hudler gets injured all the time now. And when he plays, he's not what he used to be. Michael Neuwirth. If he plays, I really don't know. Neuwirth has the earmarks right now for a guy who's going to go to Europe. Ryan Miller. Rumor has it the Canucks want him back and he wants to come back to Vancouver, and I'm not sure how that fit works. He's past his mid-30s now. It's time to either give Markstrom a shot at being the starter or bring in somebody else. I love Miller's game. I mean, I watched 2 Canuck games towards the end of the year, and even though the Canucks were out of it, Miller played really, really well. And it says something about a goaltender's character when his team is down and out, and he still plays really well. So he's got a lot of heart. He'll find a job somewhere if he wants it. I just don't see it being in Vancouver. Michael Del Zotto, not for the Leafs. And then at the bottom of the list is Jarome Iginla. So those are your free agents. Now, Iginla, maybe. But again, part of the reason that the Leafs won me over this year is that they have put together a really good team from line 1 to line 4. Their defense, from 1 through 6, there's weaknesses there. There's a couple of guys you can probably boot out, and there's guys you could bring in. So during the summer, if I hear Leafs fans saying, we need this, and it's defensemen, cool. But when Tavares' name comes up, it's a facepalm moment. Because they don't need Tavares. They've got Austin Matthews. They don't need Tavares. You need to improve your defense. If you're spending all your money on forwards and your defense is still middling, you lose in the playoffs. Because you either need a Vezina goaltender to make up for that defense, or you move out your Vezina goaltender to bring in your defense, realizing you've downgraded your goaltender. Like, it's not a fun experience. The cap is reported to be going up, not by a lot, but going up this summer. And that will be good for every GM, because most have spent themselves into a corner, as GMs are wont to do. The thing I would say to Leafs fans right now is they made the playoffs. They weren't supposed to. This is at least a year early. They're going to get better. They need help on the blue line, yes. But when all of these entry-level contracts run out, these guys are going to get paid big money. And much like the Oilers when they had to sign Eberle, Nugent Hopkins, and Hall, and they got them all big contracts, the Leafs are going to be in probably a worse position, because it seems like in terms of their explosive ability, Eberle, Nugent Hopkins, and Hall, even Hall, I would put below Matthews with the 40-goal rookie season. Marner doesn't have the goal scoring of Hall, but man, he's slippery and he's fast and he's really smart. You have to be if you're a smaller player. Smaller players have to be really, really smart. I think one of the smartest players I saw was Cliff Ronning, because when you're small, you got to know what's going on. You got to keep your head up. Big guys can be sort of lumbering and take a little longer to learn the game, and they'll still get chances because they're big. Small guys, you get one shot, and then you're done. I've got a Nathan Gerbe jersey that's supposed to arrive by the end of this week, and I really look forward to wearing it, because Nathan Gerbe played in the league at about my height. But as soon as a weakness showed, or NHL GMs perceived that he wasn't quite an NHL forward, done. Because he's small. So I don't know. What do the Leafs do from here? I think they're set in goal. Freddie, I think, converted everybody. I don't think there's anybody left among the Freddie bashers other than non-Leafs fans, and I'm not talking to them right now because they're going to bash the Leafs no matter what they do. The Leafs could win the Stanley Cup, and the day after Leafs bashers would say, yeah, but it's going to be another 60 years before they do it again. Or, yeah, but the fix was in. The NHL head office wanted it to happen. I remember hearing that about the Rangers. And all I wanted to say to those guys when I heard that was, so why did it take 54 years for the NHL to put the fix in? That seems like a really slow fix, doesn't it? And the NHL hasn't fixed it again for the Rangers. So it must be every 54 years the fix is in. Those fans exist. Nothing I can do about them. But yeah, so this is going to be the start of crazy conversations and rumors. And I think the Tavares one is the one that I've already looked at and shaken my head because last year when there were rumors that Stamkos was going to go to Toronto, I said no. You don't want Stamkos. You don't want to tie up $8-9 million in cap for Stamkos, which is what it would have taken if he was leaving Tampa. You've got to make it a really rich offer for him to leave Tampa Bay. And I said Stamkos isn't going to just leave. And then you've got the problem with if you do get him to leave and join your team, that's going to be a long-term contract. He's not going to sign for 2 years. It's going to be 5 or 6 year contract. And then when all of your young guns are up for renewal, you can't afford to keep them all. And it's a nice problem to have when you have too much talent, whether you're Chicago or the Kings a few years ago. But if you make the right decisions, you might be the Hawks, who have been eliminated in the first round twice in the last 2 years, or you might be the Kings, who've missed the playoffs twice in the last 3 years. So, when all those contracts come up and you've got all this negotiating to do at once and your team's had some success, it can be a minefield as a GM. And adding Stamkos would have been potentially the detonator that threw the whole team off. And Stamkos definitely has that, or Tavares definitely has that same potential. I like Tavares a lot. I intend to go through everybody's cap and figure out where Tavares would fit best. Even looking at Vancouver, I'm like, geez, the Sedins come off the cap. That's $14 million in cap space, and Horvat looks like a good number 2 center. What if the Canucks could somehow? And then immediately I'm like, okay, I got my Canuck fan glasses on. This is not right. So I just shut the whole thing down right there, because I think for Tavares, there's going to be a number of factors, I believe, and I believe his frustration in New York, his frustration playing for the Islanders, is going to factor into where he wants to go. In other words, money's going to be important. Winning is going to be important. And that's where Leafs fans are going to trip me up. They're going to say, well, then he can win in Toronto. Yes, but that contract would hamper the Leafs' ability to re-sign guys at the end of it. See? So when Matthews is up, he's going to command a lot of money. So's Marner. So's Nylander. Potentially, so are Hyman, Brown. These guys are multimillionaires, and then when their contract's up. Kasperi Kapanen, has he inserted himself into that conversation? How many guys in the Leafs organization, when their contracts are up, are going to get big raises? I think it's going to be a lot. Now, if you have an $8 million contract for Tavares for the next 7 years that's weighing on it, a couple of those guys are going to have to go. And that would be a shame. So, you guys can let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And the ever-improving Season 2 product. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Again, to me, if you want to talk Shattenkirk, I'm there with you. You want to talk Alzner? Maybe. But if you're going to start throwing wacky, crazy stuff out there, it's a wacky, crazy summer every year. And I could go back and name off all of the guys who have been tied to the Leafs at one point in time in their career. And I could go back 30 years. And it's basically every star player you can think of. The Gretzkys, the Messiers, never Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, it was well known that he would be a Penguin for life, basically. Lindros eventually became a Leaf after 3 or 4 times that the rumor was out there. It's crazy. I get it. It's the biggest fan base, and there's a passion for the Leafs. But there's a limit, and players usually sign in American cities. This past summer was an exception. We'll see if it goes back to status quo, which is that your biggest names will either stay where they are or they'll move to the warmer climates. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to do some more fun stuff tonight rather than just the playoff talk, because the playoffs start fresh tomorrow. We'll be right back into it tomorrow. I figured today's more of a fun, let's hang out and chat kind of thing. Picked up a $1 a month donation last night on Patreon, and you know what? That's no laughing matter. Every dollar counts, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, and I will definitely be continuing to post videos on there and taking care of you guys here as well. So thank you very much for your support, and I'll talk to you all again soon.